Welcome to your first episode of Biology from Jay's house. That's right, we're going to be learning about the human body from my house. And today's video is just a quick little intro to the circulatory system. The point of today's video is just to start thinking about the circulatory system. There aren't going to be any notes today, but there will be starting tomorrow, which reminds me, you need to organize your digital space for this. So what you should be doing is you should be making a new Google Doc, or if you want, you can just keep using paper and just write down. And what I'd like that Google Doc to be called is Circulatory System Notes. So please pause this video, make a new Google Doc in your biology folder. That's my folder icon. So go to your Google Drive, open up your biology folder, and please make a new Google Doc called Circulatory System Notes. That should be the name of the Google Doc. Now you're not going to type anything into it today, but you are tomorrow. So let's just take a moment and do that now. So pause this video, go into your biology folder and do this. Pause. Welcome back. Hopefully everybody did that. Now we can start talking. So what we're going to do is just start wrapping your head around the circulatory system. This is just the overview. There are no actual notes today. So that document that you just made, you're actually not going to use it today, but you are going to use it tomorrow. So what we're talking about is the circulatory system and the purpose of it. Why do we even have one of these things? To think about that, we have to think about what are all the things that humans need to stay alive? Well, there's three things we need. The first thing that we need is, well, let's say water. That seems pretty important. Another thing that we need is if I remember correctly, we need air. And specifically, the oxygen part of air. And the third thing, hopefully you're yelling at your screen right now, nutrients, aka food. Those are the three things. And the reason that we need them as humans is because we need them at a cellular level. Every single cell in our body needs a fresh supply of water, air, and nutrients basically all the time. Now, it's not 100% true. That rule of three says that we can go about 3 minutes without oxygen before we die. We can go about 3 days without water before we die. And we can go about 3 weeks without nutrients before we die. So our cells can go a little bit, but they need a constant supply of oxygen. They need basically a constant supply of water, and they need nutrients often. So how do all the cells, and when I say all the cells, I mean everything from my head down to my toes. How do all the cells, my liver cells, my bone cells, my brain cells, how do all the cells get their water, air, and nutrients? And the answer is they're hand delivered. What? Yeah, it's like Amazon for your body. It is hand delivered by the blood. The blood is the Amazon of the body. Blood actually brings water, air, and nutrients to every single cell in your body. I don't care what body part you're talking about. I don't care what cell you're talking about. The way it gets its water, air, oxygen, nutrients is the blood. The blood delivers it. And it is the circulatory system that deals with the blood. So what we're really talking about when we talk about the circulatory system is we're talking about delivering water, air, and nutrients to all the cells in your body. That's it. Now, technically, if you want to get real nerdy about it, it's not just that. It also has to do with removing waste. when the cells use their water, air, and nutrients, they make waste. And the blood also takes the waste away. So it's like Amazon and Garbage Man. It does both. The blood is amazing. It gives you all the stuff you want and it picks up your waste. Wow, what an amazing company. I tell you, if Amazon started picking up trash every time they delivered to my house, we would have a clean house. And that's what blood does. It brings all this stuff, and then anytime cell has waste, it just pushes it out and blood grabs it on its way. So that's what the circulatory system is all about. Delivering these things to your cells, all your cells, and then removing the waste from your cells. Now, let's go just a little bit further, and then we'll call it a video. And that is, what are we talking about? We're talking about blood moving, and we learned last unit that if blood is moving, it needs a muscle to move. So if anything moves, if my arms move, I have these skeletal muscles that move them. If my intestines move, I have smooth muscles to move them. And if my blood moves, I have cardiac muscles, heart muscles to pump them. And just to tell you, your heart, here's an actual human hand holding an actual human heart. Look at that. Your heart is just about the size of your fist. If you do kind of a loose fist, kind of, instead of like grabbing for your life, you just kind of relax as if you're holding like something very gentle and delicate. That's about the size of your heart. And what your heart does is it just pumps. That's all it does, all day. It just pumps blood. It's actually an incredibly dumb organ. It doesn't even check whether it needs to pump. Your brain does that for you. Your brain tells your heart to pump. And it does that through a bunch of different things. But your heart literally just squeezes when told. It is not a smart organ. It does no checking of what the blood is. Should the blood be pumped? Is the blood good? Is that, it would pump poisonous blood through it just as happily as it would pump fresh, good, healthy blood. And there's actually a bunch of interior bits to your heart. Your heart's kind of complicated on the inside. We're not going to get into that in this video, but we will get into that in later videos. So this is just a dumb pump. If I had to talk about the heart as something, I would just call it a dumb pump. And the interesting thing about when the heart is told whether to pump or not is it doesn't actually check whether there's oxygen. When the blood is, when the brain is checking whether we should pump blood if we need more blood, it actually doesn't check for oxygen. You would think that the brain would say, hey, how are our oxygen levels? And it doesn't. What it does is it actually checks for the waste product. So we breathe in O2 and we breathe out carbon dioxide. And what the brain actually checks is it checks for high levels of carbon dioxide. If there's a lot of waste in our blood, then it assumes that there's not enough oxygen. And there's a thing called asphyxiating. Asphyxiating is when you breathe in non-oxygen gases. But if it's not oxygen, then you don't make a waste product, carbon dioxide. And that's why you can do things like asphyxiate on smoke and stuff like that. Our brain actually doesn't check whether there's oxygen in our blood. It actually checks whether there's waste in our blood. And if the waste is too high, if there's too much carbon dioxide, then your heart will actually pump a little bit harder and forcing your lungs to breathe a little bit more. And your brain will tell your heart to pump and your lungs to breathe more. Just kind of a cute little side note. So again, all we're talking about for the circulatory system is how to get air, water, and nutrients. There's three things that we need. We need air, water, and nutrients. Let's say that one more time. We need air, water, and nutrients in all of our cells. And that's what the circulatory system does. See you tomorrow for more biology from Jay's house.